Podcast, where we talk about SEO, SEM, and SMM. I'm Chase Reiner with First Click Inc., and we are joined today with Aaron McKay from McKay Social. We're going to be discussing some ways to increase engagement on Facebook and Facebook best practices, and kind of some tips and tricks hopefully you'll be able to take away and help increase your following on either your Facebook page or your Facebook profile, and how to basically get more likes and shares and that sort of deal. So let's get started. Aaron, do you want to introduce yourself, even though I already kind of did that?
Sure, I'm Erin McKay, and you can find me on mckaysocial.com, and it's E-R-E-N, not E-R-I-N, by the way, for anyone listening. And I know that sounds weird, but my dad's Brazilian, and I'm Brazilian too. I'm in Brazil right now, and that's why my name is spelled differently. So yeah, that's where you can find me, and I hope that this podcast is going to help a lot of people.
All right, so the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is, for one, we have Aaron, who's a social media expert, and two, I've been taking a lot of courses on Udemy, and I've already known a good amount about Facebook and other social media platforms just through research and through reading different blogs. But recently I've been finding out a lot more about Facebook through this Udemy course I've been taking. And a couple of things I wanted to start off with is the Facebook algorithm. I think we talked about this a little earlier, Aaron, about how the Facebook algorithm has 100,000 different ranking factors, which is a lot more than the Google algorithm. Mm-hmm. And a lot more. Yeah, I think the Google algorithm has like 300 right now. So one of the main ranking factors is who engages with your posts. So this kind of ties into one of the first tips I want to offer, is that the people who engage with your post, so say you post something and somebody likes your post, or they share your post, or they comment, it's a good idea to look at those people's profiles afterwards and like some of their stuff, because what's going to happen is it's going to create that interaction between you and that person, and you're going to be more likely to show up in their feed, and they're going to be more likely to like and also reshare your posts. Another thing is that you can do is if you notice that certain words you're mentioning have more engagement than others, like for instance, if I mention SEO on my personal profile, I usually won't get as much engagement as when I mention words like motivation, because in the past when I mentioned motivation, I usually get more engagement. And I think Facebook actually picks up on those words or what people are interacting with, and will show certain things to the people who are clicking on, like for instance, something that has a certain, like for posts that have links, or posts that have certain keywords in them. And there's a bunch of other stuff, like some posts have pictures, some that don't, and Facebook takes a lot of that into consideration. Those are my first couple tips. We can keep going, but I want to hear what Aaron has to say.
Yeah, the first thing I would say is if you're doing it from a page, then probably you've either built up your page through your own blog, or you've paid for advertising. And the first tip that I want to give is, if you're going to do advertising, make sure that you do it through the Power Editor and not the generic one, simply because you can really narrow down who your target market is. And so the first thing I would say to people is create at least 2 to 3 personas of your target market. And a persona is basically you write down what your target market looks like and what they do, what's their age range, are they female, are they male, where do they shop at, what are their likes, what are their preferences. So it takes a while to create a persona, but it's really important to do that before you start with anything, is create 2 to 3 personas. And then after you create your personas of your target market, then you can create different campaigns to target only the people that fit into that persona. Because if you just do advertising for just anyone, you're throwing macaroni on the wall and seeing what sticks. You're not going to reach who really wants to hear what you have to say. And so your engagement is going to go way down.
Yeah. Can I comment on that really quick, Aaron, before you go on? So how important it is to actually have that audience too is crazy. And a lot of people don't look at this, but this is something else that I've discovered is that when you get likes from like fake profiles or people who aren't going to engage with your posts. So there's this one guy out there named Jerry Banfield that we both know. And he has a Udemy course that does really well. And what he does is in his Udemy courses, he tells you take a post and you want to market it to a place like Nigeria or Egypt, where the cost per click is generally very low. And once you get a lot of social proof, you want to remarket those ads to a location that you're actually going to try to have people convert in, where the cost per click is going to be higher, or cost per engagement. But what happens is that when you get a bunch of people liking your page, maybe just from seeing the ad and visiting your page, or maybe you're just running a campaign to get page likes, you're actually poisoning your Facebook page, because when you post something, what happens is Facebook takes a random 100 people audience from that post and it shows that post to all those people. Well, if none of them engage with that post, it's only going to carry that to a lower percentage of people and test it with them until it dilutes where it doesn't really show it to anybody. So if you don't have an audience that's engaging with your posts, you're probably only going to reach maybe like 10% of the people or even less, where if you have a very engaging post and a lot of people are engaging in it because the people who are liking your stuff are interested in seeing it, then you can actually potentially reach like 80% of your audience. You're never going to reach 100%, but you can reach a very high amount.
Yeah, people that go the easy route, if something seems too easy to be true, it's because it is too easy to be true. Like that, if internet marketing were easy, then everyone would be a millionaire. That's the truth. So when you see people giving advice like throw your ads to Nigeria, blah, 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 no offense, but don't listen to that, because you're going to poison your page. You're going to have to start your entire page over, a brand new page, which is what I tell my clients when they've had that type of horrible advice. I literally have to start over because they have poisoned their page, and now Facebook already has their history and all that. So basically start over is and the worst thing is this, people get excited because they're like, oh, I did what so-and-so said and I got like 5,000 likes in 2 days. And it's like, okay, how much money is in your bank account? It doesn't matter if you get 5,000 likes in a day if those likes came from places that are not your target audience, that are not going to listen to what you have to say. And I really like what you said, because I've been telling this to people. Sometimes I have clients that are really huge and they have a huge team. So they're not asking me before they go out and do stuff like this. And then they throw me a Facebook page that's basically ruined. And I'm like, sorry, I'm not touching that, because I'm not going to associate my name with this horrible engagement. I'm not going to associate, because then the blame comes back on me. It's just like creating a website. If you're going to create a website and you're throwing it to somebody that's going to make your entire website for $300, guess what? You're not going to have any security plugins installed. You're not going to have any really good SEO plugins installed and configured, because nobody's going to do all that work for $200 to $300 for the entire installation of the website. So, that's a fact.
Yeah,
People that really know what they're doing don't charge that much to create a website.
Yeah, I think it's funny when people want to hire people who are supposed to be really skilled and, have a lot of knowledge to potentially take their business to the next level, but they want to pay them a very low amount of money. I don't see how you can, correlate making a bunch of money with spending $300, right?
Yeah, so $300 for a website. I mean, what'll that get you? Like, it won't. Maybe, yeah, I can install a WordPress blog with the correct htaccess file and robots text in an hour. I can do that, but it's not going to have all the correct settings. It's not, for me to go in and do all the correct things, it takes a lot more than an hour. Sometimes it depends, especially on the size of the website, sometimes 20 hours or more. But back to Facebook. Right?
And I just wanted to say really quickly, and it's not just websites. It's also social media. And for you to make these assets and not know anything about the business, you also have to figure out what the customers are doing, where they hang out, what keywords are they using. Are the keywords you're going to be targeting with a high search rate? Do people even convert with those keywords? Are they just keywords for information? So there's a lot more that goes into it than just putting code on a website. You actually have to know a lot about these people and who's looking for them.
Yes. And in relation to Facebook ads, this is what I always say. If you're a huge $1 million business, sure, go for ads for more likes on your page. But if you're not a huge business and you need conversions, I always say it's better to do Facebook ads to your target market, but to land on your own website on a landing page that has great copywriting. You offer something for free, like a kit or an e-course or whatever that your target market would be interested in. Much better to do that than to, create an ad for a like. Because even after the like, you're going to have to continue paying so those people will actually see your post. Whereas if you get them on your emailing list, you can create customers and create that know, like, and trust factor through email marketing. So that's what I always tell my clients who are not millionaires. Start with ads for your email buildup first.
Right. Yeah. And I think another thing that is really overlooked is the cover photo. I see a lot of businesses with cover photos that it's just like a picture of the sun or a beach. And the cover photo is actually one of the most looked at things on Facebook. So if you have some sort of promotional deal, or you want to get a message across, or you want people to sign up, you can actually point an arrow down to your call to action, like your sign up form. Or you can even click here on the cover photo, and when people click on the cover photo, it'll show the comments for that photo, and you can put instructions for the sign up there as well. So cover photos are something I think people should definitely spend time on optimizing.
Yeah, over the years, it's changed. A few years ago, we could only put a certain percentage of text. They changed that, and then they change it again. So Facebook is constantly changing their terms of service, which is extremely annoying because you spend, I don't know how many hours reading and understanding and studying and making sure you've memorized everything so you don't do anything out of their terms. And then they change it and you have to go back. But I do say to people, the first thing you should do is read all of Facebook terms of service. And by the way, one of their terms of service is that on your private profile, you cannot be selling things, doing commercial transactions on your personal profile. That's one of their terms of service. So don't risk losing your personal profile over, that mistake.
So kind of going off of that, what is your opinion on like really high engaging posts, like people who do contests or polls, or tag your friend if they like cheese and then have a picture of cheese, that kind of thing? What
Yeah.
I mean, I think they work really well, but I mean, do you have any experience doing these in the past? I recently just did one that I could talk about, but I'm wondering if maybe you have any input.
Yeah, it's funny because what really gets a lot of engagement is people are on social to have fun, right? And so when you do something fun or funny or that involves asking people what they like, what their preference is, that type of post gets a lot of engagement because that's what people are on social for, to be social. They're not on social to buy anything not that they won't buy, but if you understand that social is a process where you're seeding little bits and pieces of your brand into the person's mind. And then afterwards, there will be a conversion, but you can't go straight for the sale. So create posts that are fun, ask questions, very important. Polls get a lot of engagement. the images, if a stock photo does not, depends on the stock photo, but there are stock photos out there that just, they don't get as much as engagement as a personalized photo with a picture of your face and everybody else in the business's face there. Like, the more you can put your face and other people's faces on there, the more personal you get, the more people identify with you. If you have a baby, I know that people are like, I don't want to show my children, but if when I would get clients, I'd be like, I need pictures of you and your baby. And she's like, I don't want to show my baby. It's like, but if you do, your fans are going to be like, she has a baby. She's a mom. She's a real person. She's not just, this huge star. She also has a personal life and she's a human being, and people need to identify with that aspect. So I would say definitely take pictures of yourself and put them out there, because those get a lot of engagement.
Yeah, it's funny. I've actually noticed that when I post a profile picture or a picture of me with someone else, it actually usually gets more engagement. And it's also weird because at the same time, I notice those little boxes come up around my face and around the other people's faces, because I think Facebook Facebook recognizes when there's faces in a picture, and I'm wondering if that's actually part of the algorithm, that it favors profile pictures or pictures because they generally get more interaction, so maybe there's more weight. I know that there was a study done that showed galleries actually usually get the most engagement. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I've actually tested this with my husband. My husband is a pretty successful physics. He's the head of the physics department of a private school here where I live. And he has a lot of students, and, people are always asking him to be friends but he has no more space for friends. But the reality is, if I would put a generic picture up and tag my husband on the generic picture, it would show, he would allow it on his timeline, but hardly any of his students would like it. Mm-hmm. Even when it was like a really beautiful picture and stuff, hardly any of his students would like it, of his Facebook friends. Whereas if I put a picture on my profile, not of my face, but of his face, and tagged him in it, then like hundreds of his students would like it. So I believe there might be, I'm not saying there is, because we don't know what the algorithm is. And as you know, just as Facebook, Google, they keep they keep the algorithm secret, so nobody can game it. But with this little test that I did, I realized that Facebook knows when I'm tagging him his actual face, and I believe they allow it to be shown to his students when it's not just a generic picture that I tag him in. Whereas when it's actually his face, they allow more people to see it. That's from my little test. I may be wrong, because these tests, there's correlation, there's causation, there's all kinds of mathematical things that go into it. But I did a little test just to figure that out, and that's what I figured out. So if you have like a really good friend who is somewhat famous, like my husband, I'll go out in the shopping center, he gets stopped every 5 minutes. Yeah. So he's somewhat famous, right? So if you have a somewhat famous friend or a popular friend, just say, hey, I want to post pictures of you on my profile, and your engagement
what I want to
go up.
I want to actually back up what you're saying right now, because I've actually noticed this now that you brought it up. One of the people that we were actually doing social media consulting for, they had a really big client, and it was actually I don't know if you know this person. Their name is Bethany Hamilton. She's a pro surfer. She got her arm bit off when she was like 13 by a shark.
Oh wow. Okay.
But anyway, she's still a pro surfer, and she's super inspirational, and tons of people follow her on Facebook. I think she has like 2 million likes on her Facebook page, and she's a certified celebrity. And what happened was, we were consulting with the company that was helping her, and they tagged her in one of their posts, and it wasn't actually a picture of her, but actually, yeah, it was a picture of her, and it was a quote right next to it. And in the past, before that, they were making, posts about her, and she would comment on them, and they would pretty much go viral. They'd get, 100,000 impressions, that kind of thing. But when they tagged her and she liked it, and I think she also reshared it, they wound up getting, I think, 1 million impressions, a little bit more than that, I think. And like 5,000 reshares, which was just crazy.
That's because her actual face was on that picture. And that's, I think, is the secret here that we're trying to give to our listeners is if you have a popular or famous friend, just call them up, because nobody likes to be tagged. But if you're really their friend, they're not going to be bothered. And make sure that their settings allows their fans or followers or friends or whatever to see whatever they get tagged in, because if their settings doesn't allow that, it's useless too. So, this I think a great tip for engagement is right on the popularity of your friends.
No, it is. I think that's really how it works. And I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying in the very beginning and what we were talking about. You want to create those interactions with people, and if you can create interactions with, higher people who are already really popular, you're going to really see a difference. But it starts with making those small interactions and then slowly building up, right? I mean, eventually you're going to start knowing people who know those people who are interacting with you, and then you're going to meet new people. I mean, that's kind of how social media becomes social.
I do want to give this little tip before we go on. If you're not really good friends with the person, do not tag them, because that is it's like going into a stranger's house and laying on their sofa and drinking their Coke when you don't have that rapport with them. Don't do that.
Right. They're just going to ignore you.
Not only are they going to ignore you, they will actually, some of them will click spam on your post. And if you get enough of those complaints, you can lose your profile. So only do this when you actually have a rapport. I have enough of a rapport with my husband. So
yeah, well, let's hope so, right?
Yeah, after 19 years of marriage, I would hope. So, and 3 kids that I gave him, right?
Right.
So, so it really depends on how much of a rapport you have. And I would say call the person up and talk to them verbally to make sure that they're okay. Even people that I'm really good friends with, I don't tag them unless I have personally asked them, can I tag you? When I was doing a campaign to get more votes for a really good friend of mine, I actually asked her, can I put my face on the campaign I'm doing for you? Because I know it'll get more engagement.
Right.
And she was like, sure, have at it. Do whatever you want, because I was like, if I put a picture of me, people will like the post and read the post. Whereas if I just put like an image with blah, 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 they're not going to care. And she's like, yeah. Of course, that pictures of people in bikinis get a lot of engagement, but I wouldn't say that that's a long-term strategy.
Yeah. Aaron, do you know what I've been finding is that I feel like a lot of people who first find out about Blab, and if the listeners don't know what Blab is, it's basically like Periscope, but 4-way channel, blab.im. And it seems like a lot of people who are not familiar with it are more willing to come on. So if there's somebody who's pretty popular in the industry, so like maybe somebody from a Google SEO community on Google or pretty much anywhere, if you invite them to a Blab, they're usually willing to do it just to either kind of check it out, get an interview. Most people have time for an interview, right?
Right.
So I feel like just by doing that, maybe getting a couple interviews with some pretty big people, and then maybe resharing that to your Facebook and tagging them in it, like to your Facebook page. I think that would probably be a pretty good strategy in order to get more engagement, don't you think? Yeah.
The only problem that I've encountered with recording on Blab, and I love blab.im. If you don't have an account there yet, go ahead and you'll meet a lot of nice people everywhere. But I found that the recordings that I do there, there's a lag, so it sounds like we're talking over each other when we actually do the recording. So I would say go to Blab, interact, do your social networking right there, and then open up a Hangout and record it until they get their little recording feature fixed.
Yeah.
So that you can have a good audio.
Well, tell them where I'll just tell them. We're doing our Hangout right now because Blab is, when we did our last Blab, it sounded like we were yelling over each other, so that wasn't working out. But creating that first interaction and talking to people through Blab is really great because you can literally just send them a link and they can just jump right in. I mean, they can with Google, but it's not really the same because when Google, it kind of feels like you're cornering them. You know what I mean? It's like they just come in and it's like, okay, now I'm here and now you're here and we don't really know each other. But with Blab, it's kind of like, sit down. There's people in the chat. They want to ask you questions. not as like strict, and then you can afterwards say you can take them home with you to Google Hangouts.
Blab. I love Blab. Yeah, I love Blab. I love the community over there. It's funny because when Google Hangouts first started back in 2011, I would hear people using that buzzword community, and it just made me want to barf a little bit. And that was because people were sucking up to Google Plus community managers, and I just hated seeing all that brown nosing around me. And with Blab, it actually feels like a community. It actually feels like people care about people there, and it doesn't feel like it's forced. Because on Google, people were doing that because they wanted to suck up to Google because Google is Google, right? And on Blab, like, nobody's trying to suck up to anyone on Blab. Like, they're not, Google, and they're not Facebook. So they're a smaller company, but they're really great about giving feedback or help. When you help them in the chat inside of Blab, the help comes up and has always helped me out and responded to my stuff really quickly. They're really cool. So it does feel more like a community on Blab than it does here on Google, Google Plus, I mean. So I think that the communities on Google Plus were formed inside of the Google Plus community. That's when community feel actually started happening over here. But the Hangouts, it was really not, I felt like there was a lot of pettiness. Whereas on Blab, I feel like there are some nice people. Of course, as with, if you're going to a coffee shop, there's going to be nice people. There's going to be not nice people. You have to just write down who the not nice people are and don't go into their Blabs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you can block them too, can't you?
No, you can't. I've tried to get them to give us that feature, but you can only block them in the actual Blab if you're a host or a co-host, but not from following you or forever. It's just every Blab you can block if you're a host or co-host.
Well, hopefully they fix that one day.
Yeah, I actually did a little campaign, got 190 some votes to get them to have that feature, but they didn't instill that yet. For some reason, I don't know why, but
it'll probably happen.
You know what? It's been okay, because when I just find people that I don't like, I just get away from them and write their name down so I don't forget them. Keep a running list in a Word doc. People that are toxic, and just don't go into Blabs that they're in. And that's my advice for any video, audio, social interaction. Keep a running list of toxic people and make sure you don't interact with them, because you want to keep your space clear and positive so that you can interact with people that care about you and you can care about them back. So
keep a secret Twitter list of all the people you hate and all the people you like.
That's a good idea, because you don't actually have to. I don't want to see them. I wouldn't want a Twitter list now.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to read
I don't actually want to see their face. No, I just if somebody's too horrible, I just block them on Twitter. So
yeah, I was actually experiencing that one time with somebody in Google Plus. We won't get into it, but I don't want to make this podcast too much longer. Let's just talk about the main takeaways. So I think if I'll say my main takeaways, you say yours, and you can just, if I say them all, you can just agree with me, but I probably won't. But so for me, start interacting more with other people who are interacting with your posts. That's number one. Number two is create a great cover photo that's more than just like a picture of some random event. Try to put some thought into it and maybe promote something through your Facebook photo or cover photo.
And also read the Facebook terms of service to know just how many, because they updated again, just how much text you can put on there. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And then three, try reaching out. So look for other people or pages that are kind of doing what you're doing. So you can do that by looking at people who like SEO. You can type that in on Facebook, or you can just look up Facebook pages just by typing in SEO and going to pages, and find the pages that are doing it right. And it doesn't have to be SEO; it can be anything. And start trying to reach out to those people by sending them messages and maybe inviting them to a Blab or something, and then perhaps get an interview in and see if they won't reshare your posts. And number 4, I think those are my top 3 tips. I'm just gonna keep it 3.
All right. So I'll do number 4. Number 4 is if you have a rapport with somebody who's popular or famous, tag them in a photo. At first, call them up and ask them if it's okay, and tag them in a photo and create a really inspiring, like you said, a quote next to that person so that you can get a lot of interaction and be seen by their friends or followers. Take pictures of yourself and other people in your business and tag them in it also so that you can get more interaction, because get personal is part of taking pictures of yourself. Get personal. That would be number 5. Number 6 would be ask questions and do fun polls that people, make things, add humor also. So I'll just put 6 as humor, polls, questions. All of that gets a lot of interaction. That's number 6. Number 7 is if you don't have enough money to just get Facebook lights for your target market, which is the personas that I talked about, then make sure that you create campaigns and with A/B split testing to a sign-up page on your website to get them into your newsletter. So definitely do the A/B split testing with this personas for newsletter subscribers if you don't have enough money for likes. So I think that was it, right? That's 7.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch more we could go over, but I think right now those are kind of the big things that I think people should really be focusing on at this moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, of course, you should have a good call to action on your Facebook page. You should comment.
But let me give another tip.
You should what?
A lot of people on their personal profile don't explain where they work, and you can go into your personal profile. Works at founder of your actual page. I see that a lot of people forget to do that on their personal profile, and that's one of the first things that people look at when they come to your personal Facebook profile is what are you a founder of? And so you want to promote your Facebook page from your personal profile on your about section. So that's a little tidbit. And also when you do posts, you can tag your page, say, hey, come like my page. That's not against Facebook's terms of service. And you'll get a lot of, just by creating a really good post on your personal profile with a great image, especially if you put your face in it and tag yourself, then more people will go like your page. And you have to have at least 1,000 likes in order for you to spy on your competitors. So you want to get over that 1,000 mark with at least one page so you can spy on your competitors, even if you do nothing with your page. At least you can spy on your competitors if you have 1,000 likes.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
If you have over 1,000 likes, you can put your competitors' names inside of the Facebook page dashboard, and see what they've gotten the most engagement on and everything. So you want that data. Yeah, I actually created a page that I didn't ever promote on my website or really anywhere else. Just by people knowing me, I got over 1,000 likes over there just to spy on competitors.
Wow, that's smart though.
So they're like, what are you doing with this page? You haven't been doing much with your page. It's like, I don't care. I'm not doing it. This is a page for competitor analysis. You're not engaging on your page. Exactly. This is a test page. This is not. Should I be saying that? I don't know. But it's out there. It's out there.
Well, and I'd also say make sure that there's some links in your descriptions for your pages. A lot of people, they just put like, oh, this is our Facebook page, and it's like, look, you can put a link in there, like do something.
You can put links in your about on your personal, also to your website, to your Twitter, to everything. So definitely fill those fields in anywhere you can.
Also, don't oversaturate like with promotions. Try to create things that people are actually interested in too. Like if somebody wants to goes to your page because they wanted to learn about SEO, I mean, half of that should be, offering suggestions, and the other half should probably be like the promotion. But if it's like 80% promotion and 20% helpful tips, then it's like,
You're actually doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do, which is 80% helping tips and 20% promotion. That is the 80-20 rule for social.
Yeah. I was just saying like 50-50 because I feel like most of the case people aren't even hitting the 50 mark. They're probably just doing like the exact opposite.
Yeah, I do say to my clients, let's give about 80, 80% of good content, and then only promote 20% of the time, because people just don't like to be sold to. So, and also when you do promote, make it a soft promotion. Like, you're going to get this for free. It's not like you're promoting some product that you're selling. You can promote a free opt-in, and then from there you can sell from your newsletter list.
Yeah, like it should actually be really helping people. It shouldn't just be like, oh, I'm promoting this because I need you to buy something right now because I need money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it should be super helpful. Absolutely. And even the products that you create, if you create a product that you sell for $47, make it worth like $300.
Yeah.
So that when the person buys this $47 product, they're like, wow, I paid $47 and the information I got from this is worth $300. So I'm going to actually tell other people about this product because I'm getting so much more than I paid for.
Yeah.
That's what I also tell my clients, is to overgive in your products, and that'll make it go social. You'll get fans promoting you on social media without even being your affiliates, just because it's a great product.
One more thing, I think this is something I want to start doing, is mentioning people in the podcasts that we've been doing or through like a video, because I think people are going to be more likely to engage with you because they like hearing them, that they're a part of it, right? So I think what I'm going to start doing is start mentioning people who comment or like or share on like the different social media platforms, not just Facebook, but say, hey, thanks for, or even anybody who puts a review on the podcast, thanks for reviewing, and even maybe finding out a little bit about them and kind of talking about them for a couple seconds.
Yes, that really gets you a lot of return because people like to be acknowledged. And that's why Periscope really works, because Periscope is all about interacting with your audience live on video. And when people that do Periscope that do really well are the people who are reading the comments in Periscope. I'm not Periscoping, but I have clients that do. So I know, that's why I know this. When they interact with the comments, the people start to, feel like they have an emotional connection and bond with you. And then when they come out with a product, they're like, you know what, this person's helped me and engaged with me so much. Yeah, I have no problem, spending this amount of money for this product,
And they're more likely to trust you.
Exactly. Video and audio is the way to go for social. I think it's the number one thing that you need to do. And then, of course, throw it out to Facebook, Twitter, and all of your social media, Pinterest. But if you're not doing video and audio, you're really missing out on the know, like, and trust factor.
Right.
People don't emotionally connect to text; they emotionally connect to a voice and to a face.
Right.
And so they're more emotionally connected to you because you're on video right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But they are, because I didn't do my face today, so I'm not on video. So.
No, that's okay. It's going to be a podcast anyways.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today, Erin. I think we gave them some pretty good stuff. If you guys want to hear more about the podcasts we've been doing, definitely check us out in the iTunes store for first. If you look up First Click SEO, you'll be able to find us and leave us a review if you're feeling generous. And if you want to find Erin.
At mckaysocial.com, or you can follow me anywhere online, ERENMCKY, Erin McKay with an E, and you'll find me on Google Plus, Twitter, everywhere. Just if you send me a friend request on Facebook, just send me a message also to tell me who you are, because that's where my family is, and I get a lot of requests and I don't know who they are, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know. So yeah. Tell me, I'm a human being from such a place. This is where I found you, so I can add you. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.